Tarumbeta italia katika anga.
Like this. That is how the trumpet will sound.
Konene. So jana kuna vile Citizen walibaki wamedo like a piece on history ya Russia, and it was very interesting because ilibaki imenionyesha another different angle of this whole story. I've always looked at the story from at the point of the victims, and the victims that I mean are those guys who went there and they had zero idea that they are going to a war. Na hiyo nabongajia wase kama ubo nilikuwa naye hapa naitwa Duncan Chege. But sasa kwa nini piece ya Citizen walikuwa nabongajia the people who knew that they were going to war. So you had like these former KDF people, and ni interesting because I think inakuonyeshaga ile ni stories za my people perish for the lack of knowledge, because zile offers hizi raya ziko zinapewa kwa mseka mimi niko zile za I don't think so. Wacha tusikize.
The opportunity was they needed to recruit trained ex-military personnel who can join the Russian army. The specification was strictly someone had to be from the forces or from the police or either having basic paramilitary training.
So nasikia hiyo like so kuna like originally wasikawa walikuwa natafutwa waseni ex KDF wakweni makarao mwasoko na military training najua. So watu kama hao na alafu what is jazzing me ni you can see the excitement that these guys had because they believed that they were joining one of the strongest militaries in the world najua, which there's nothing wrong with that, but this military is not military like that. There's a reason why it's one of the strongest, and the only reason that it's looking for you is because it thinks you are dispensable. But tuendele.
Like the NYS. At that time, when you approached me, I had a contract of recruiting security guards to Qatar and Dubai, which I had quite deployed a good number.
Yes, unachikio mse. So umse alikuwa na recruit mawochi. So of course somehow wasi wa Kenya wakakama wakadanganywa that kuna vile unaweza enda kuwe wochi in Russia and you can't speak Russian. Okay, but apart from that there are people who knew, and I think this is one of the sides ile susahau. There are people who actually knew they were going to join the military, but they didn't just feel they were going to join the military, they were going to join a military that's mightier than the Ukraine. So of course this was something easy to sign. But the sad thing about history when you see like the amount of government officials that were involved, and of course people will always trust the government, and but a lot of this stuff of course was done secretively, but still gava ilikuwa inajua.
In April 2025, Reds convened a meeting at a popular entertainment joint along Mombasa Road, where they presented details of the Russian deal, an arrangement the army brigadier promptly accepted.
When he asked me about that, I told him the best thing I could do is to find some friends from the defense forces and ask them how that can be done. So I approached a few friends in the Department of Defense, and they told me it was something possible, they could give it a trial. One of the friends that I actually went to ask, the first guy, he told me that's a deal. Yeah, ni biashara hiyo leta. So I linked them with the guy, with the Russian guy.
Then Reds relayed positive feedback to Russian Mike, informing him that the army brigadier had agreed to join the deal. The next individual they contacted was another high-ranking officer at the DCI headquarters. The DCI...
Okay, so DCI inaweza taka kujua yeye alikuwa na contact you for what? Is it for certificate of good conduct ama what was that about? Because yes, I understand say brigadier because now he has access to soldiers, and it's so easy to convince these soldiers because all you need to tell them is if you can serve in the Kenya military that's less superior to the Russian one, why not just serve in the Russian? So it becomes super easy.
The DCI officer also quickly accepted the deal. At this point, the Russian deal had secured the endorsement of high-ranking officers at the DOD and at DCI headquarters. Reds returned feedback to Mike saying that both had accepted the deal. The next connection to cover up the syndicate was top Ministry of Labour officials who were the link to the travel and labour export agencies, and the Association of Skilled Migrants Agencies of Kenya, ASMAC chairman Francis Wahome was looped in and endorsed the deal.
Sikia jo hiyo. So umsa anaitwa Francis Wahome. So all these people, don't forget them, they know better. Like if they wanted to like make sure that these Kenyans knew the risks that were going to happen. And because I think by this time, because I don't know which month these ones are talking about, but I remember like the first time I ever heard that like a Tanzanian student had been forced to fight in the war. This was last year, huko May. So this information was out there. And najua, I don't even think it's last year May. Like when Russia Ukraine war ilianza lini? Hiyo time ilianzaga. That's when a Tanzanian student was forced to fight in the war.
The Immigration Department was the next government agency to be drawn into the syndicate. These officials were the first to reach an agreement with the Russian operative, Mikhail. Their role in the deal was straightforward: to turn a blind eye to the recruitment activities while facilitating the transportation of Kenyans to the Russian army. Citizen TV has established that bribe package for the syndicate was structured per individual.
Hii place ya bribe package jo ilikuwa sad sana jo, because it just shows you how much a life is worth. And cause utasikia hata ile time msena anabonga juu ya immigration officials, anabonga juu ya 50,000 shillings. He says a staggering, and I can't even blame the reporter, because this is how those people looked at it. This is a staggering. So if I can make 50,000 shillings from these people, I need to get as many of them as possible. If I can get 20 of them, that's 1,000,000 shillings. If I can get 100 of them, and if you hear the figures that we're talking about, like, okay, tuendele.
Transported to Russia. Labour officials received 5,000 shillings per person. DCI officer at the airport received 20,000 shillings per person, and immigration officers received a staggering 50,000 shillings per person.
So I'm guessing the DCI ni the guys who are supposed to look away. Ile time unaulizwa like unaenda huku, unaenda kufanya nini? Sikuwa najua that the DCI wanakuwaga hapo, but it seems because if they are receiving 20,000 per person, they have to be doing something significant compared to the labor officials who are getting only 5,000 shillings. And yeah, the immigration officials, utasikia.
This is the message that those who wanted to travel to Russia received upon inquiry. It read age between 21 to 47 years with no diseases.
Damn, okay. At least watu wa Russia, mimi kuna shida ya mgogo. Sasa ukinipatia bunduki itaniletea shida. Sasa niko na mashida mingi sana. I'm not qualified. Utachiki the pay package that these guys were being offered. And as I keep saying, my people perish for the lack of knowledge. That's what the good holy book says.
Physically fit and willing to work in the army. Understanding the risk of the job of a soldier in the army in the Ministry of Defense of Russia.
Check hapo. So these guys, they are guys who knew the risk. And the reason why they took this is, as I keep saying, they were naive. They thought they're joining maybe the second most powerful military in the world. Of course, kama washaiwanaga the soldiers who are fighting maybe in the American army, or even soldiers who fought in the British army, one assume maybe they'll be treated the same. It's going to be a war where the people who survive, the people who die. But then they find out like, nope, nyinyi ni pale, and then mpigane na drone. Kuna a certain video that I watched this week that was so sad. Ilikuwa it's an African, I don't know if it's a Kenyan. Ule unacheki John kidrone kinamkujia, anashtuka, at some point anatry kushoot, alafu baadaye unacheki hiyo place alikuwa ime
on a contract basis on a period of 1 year. Conditions of the offer were a one-time bonus of 1.6 million shillings, agency services fee of 650,000 shillings, which included airplane tickets, visa, transport, accommodation, food and full support till successful employment. The job had a monthly salary of 280,000 scalable.
Okay. Of course, that didn't happen. So kulikuwa na hiyo, and but this was an interesting part to learn, because I'll be honest, I thought it's very few people who knew what they were getting into, and I thought there were more Duncan Cheges than this, but then you find out there are a lot of people who knew that they were going to join the military. And if you watch EPC ya Citizen, one thing you'll notice is kulikuwa na hiyo confidence ya tunaenda kujoin military ya nini, so tutaogopa nini, najua. So I say they even made like to record videos, and on the videos they were talking about how we know the risks we are taking, tunaenda hii place kujoin the military, and yes, so they knew the risks. That's one of the things, like I won't stand here and claim they didn't know. I just watch part of that.
And replied by being ready and willing to join the Russian army. We proceeded to determine whether the individuals were coerced. The videos shared with the recruiter followed a standardized format in which participants acknowledged the risks involved in joining the Russian army. We collected more than 15 videos, all recorded by Kenyans who voluntarily chose to travel.
I want to get a job in the Russian army.
I want to get this job in Russian army.
I understand the risks of working in the army.
That's why I've been passionate to serve the military all my life.
I am an ex-KDF police.
I understand all the risks associated with working in the army.
I am asking your company to assist me to go through enrollment procedure to join the army of the Ministry of the Defense of Russian Federation.
Assist me on how to join the Russian army in the ongoing recruitment.
Because they have strong army, I am asking your company to assist me to go through enrollment procedure.
Nasikia msemo moja amesema because they have a strong army, so kuna sasa alikuwa na join because anasema these people have a strong army. So yes, you can see there's all these people. Unajua it's always good to give the balance side. You have the Duncan Cheges, the ones who didn't know what they were getting into, and you have these people, but them, of course, you can see that naivety, the naivety of it's a strong military. Oh,
I want to get a job in Russian army, and I understand all the risks associated with the working in the army.
A significant number of inexperienced Kenyans were sent to serve on the Russian front line.
However, I'm aware that quite a number of guys traveled who had no experience.
Check your part, yeah, quite a number traveled who had no experience. And Nini, this piece was so good because huko mbele pia libonga jia, libonga jia kuna wasi pia join the other side, the Ukrainian side. Because the Ukrainian side, of course, as we talk about Russia and as we say these things, we should never forget that Ukraine, one of the things that happened when the war started and there were black people trying to escape is black people were being kicked off the train, najua. And so the train had to first save the women and children, and afterwards I think like a few peer blacks walikuwa forced to fight on the other side. So it's not always been rosy, like ati tunafaa kuangalia Ukraine tuseme it's, as I normally say, Eastern Europe, and Eastern Europe kiwa na ngozi kama hii ni tricky sana. So yeah, kuna hii part sana bonga juu ya Kenyans who went to fight for Ukraine.
Kenyans are also going to Ukraine. I can give you 6 that I know who joined the Ukrainian army. And the procedure is a bit different from the Russian one because for Ukraine they don't have e-visa for Kenya. So you have to obtain the visa from the embassy, just the normal visa that you process through the embassy. For Russia, you don't have to go to the embassy. You just go online, a few clicks here and there, you have the visa.
The scandal exposes more.
So, hii part akimalizia ilinibamba sana. But one of the things that may happen, I think I saw this, ni Ramaphosa. So Ramaphosa, president wa South Africa, aliishia and he was able to secure the release of South Africans who'd gone there. Because a lot of Africans were lied to, and it's not just Kenyans. Najua this argument may have, hata kuna msee moja aliniandikia kuniambia msa Poland anadanganya, jo kuna vile Russia this, Russia that. And I always say, like, my bad, good for you. If you think Russia will pay a black man 280,000 shillings, good for you. Najua they can't get a Eastern European to earn that money. They'll come for an African. Okay, good for you. So Ramaphosa at least aliweza kufree Russians. But saizi zinasemekana that msee wetu anaitwa nani? Mdavadi. And there's one thing that I always say, African countries are not sovereign. So since we are not sovereign, it means that we enjoy some of these freedoms because these other countries let us enjoy those freedoms. Usijidanganye, usichochwe na una watch zile celebration zetu, unaona tumerukisha kandege kamevunja dirisha Nairobi West, alafu fikiria tunawezana na Russia. Tuwezani na Russia. So what if the person we are sending to Russia, what if that person was given a gun and forced to join the Russian war? Maybe that would be the message that we need. You know who I'm talking about? Acha tusikize.
Scandal exposes more than just corruption. It reveals a system where officials entrusted with safeguarding citizens instead exploit them. Each bribe was not just money exchanged. It was a betrayal of trust, a sale of dignity, a perpetuation of inequality. Now with the Prime Cabinet Secretary Musalia Mudavadi set to visit Russia in the coming week, it is expected much more is to come for in the saga that continues to unfold.
So try to imagine to Mudavadi abaki ameishia huko, fopatiwe gun ajoin your war. I think that would be good. Kazi wajuu. That would actually be good because maybe that would be then the lesson that the Kenya government needs. And kuna razi takuwa Russia izifanya hivyo tunaweza enda ona Russia. No, hatuwezi enda ona Russia. Shit. The only reason Ukraine may survive that long is rangi ya ngozi yao ina make the other white people have to be there like, no, we can't let that happen to Ukraine. Check ile kitu inahappen gijo Palestine jo. Kuna mtu ana shughuli jo. So but yeah, that was a very interesting piece. And yeah, I think with that, when I was watching it, nilisema the only thing that could come to my mind was ile my people perish for the lack of knowledge. Because anyone ule study Eastern Europe anaweza cheki the amount of thuggery kuaga kwa hizo countries, they don't have jobs for foreigners like that. Will they have jobs for like foreigners who are extraordinary in something? Yes, of course. One of the greatest footballers nini hao wataenda. But ati wanakutaka huko kuwe wochi, wanakutaka kuwe cook, wanakutaka kuwe soldier, and you can't even speak the language, and they kule kwao si ati nini vitu na kizungu, they speak their own language. The schools, they speak their own languages in school, they write in their own letters and alphabet and whatever the hell vile uandikaga. So they don't need you because you can't read, you can't even read road signs, you can't read anything. So they would not need you. And also that country, you just look at the average salary huko, you'll know anyone telling you atakupatia 280. So nikisikiza hii piece kwa siku msana bonga juu kuna swali kwa compensated up to 13 million. If you are compensated 13 million na ulitoka Russia, this is Mwafrika wako nana nikikwambia jo, baki umeniambia hapa, I'd like to meet you. And cause if I've ever had bullshit, that was let's get 13 million. I'm like, okay, $100,000 Russia wakupatie $100,000 Russia, damn, $100,000. Chani jichoche Musalia Mudavadi ni bebe, chani chukue bunduki tuingie na wewe huko, tuingie na wewe, si mimi niende. Konene, najua mwaka ni mpya lakini injili ni ile ile, lemfi. So kama uko US, uko UK, uko Canada ama uko the UAE na unataka kutuma do Kenya, baki umechangamka, ingia lemfi, utabaki umepata the most competitive rates. Lakini apart from that, on your first transaction ya $100 or more, utapata $20 sign up reward. So unangoja nini? Baki umechangamka, chap chap, ingia lemfi. Lemfi, international payments for everyone. Konene.